Good morning, everyone. It is 5 a.m. and the date is June 13th, 2026. We are looking to see some more severe weather this evening, especially as we move into next week, as we will continue to be in a pretty active pattern of severe weather. And this is what we have going on this morning here across the upper Mississippi Valley. Notice we do have ongoing showers and thunderstorms across portions of Missouri. And we do have a day one enhanced risk here, kind of over Joplin and Kansas City here, back Missouri into Kansas and to northeastern portions of Oklahoma, with a large slight risk, kind of on the outskirts of this risk here. And I do want to kind of break this down a little bit. This is our wind risk for today. Notice we do have a hatched 30%. For portions of Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma here, and I could see a 45% risk being issued here somewhere in Missouri, because I do think we could have some areas up to 80-mile-an-hour winds here, especially with the evening line of storms. And this is the day one hail risk, pretty low today, but notice there is a 15% hatched here, kind of centered over Kansas City. Extending back into portions of Wisconsin, we do have this hatch risk here. But if you're in Illinois, you're only looking at about a 5% risk here. And this kind of extends, further into the panhandle of Texas. And then the day one tornado risk. I would not be shocked if this doesn't get upgraded to a 10%. Just north of Joplin, Missouri. I do think there is a favorable area here where we could have a strong tornado or two here in Missouri. NATOcast is basically showing the same thing that the Storm Prediction Center is as far as tornado probabilities, with a 5% risk here, as well as an expansive 2 to 3 risk here just outside of it. This is the 6Z HRRR model run from this morning, basically showing us general idea of what we could be looking at on the radar later this afternoon. And as we continue to move forward here, this is about lunchtime here. Notice we do have quite a bit of storms firing here across Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. The question is, are these storms going to be severe here in Illinois? I do think that answer will be yes. They'll likely be marginally severe. However, this could dampen the afternoon and decrease the amount of instability needed for the storms later this evening. Moving forward here, notice these storms continue to push off to the southeast here for several hours, and then we kind of have a break, and then look back off to the northwest. We have quite a bit of storms firing here. This is the main round and the main concern area here this evening. As we continue to move forward here, I'm pretty concerned for the Kansas City area. I would definitely have ways to get watches and warnings. A no weather radio is a great resource. Facebook is a great resource. But obviously your local news station, local media outlet. But as we continue to move forward here, notice this kind of bows out. I do think we could have a 45% wind risk here just because of what these models are showing. And as we continue to move forward here, I do think that tornado risk will continue here. Embedded QLCS tornadoes likely, and look at all these Boeing segments here along this line. But notice the further north and east you get along this line, it looks quite a bit weaker here. I think that's because the afternoon thunderstorms will kind of depreciate the amount of instability we have here across central Illinois. But that pushes on through, and then tomorrow we're not looking at a whole lot of anything. But the major concern will turn to middle of next week here. So after this storm system here, we are going to be looking at significant severe weather possibly on Wednesday. Notice as early as Monday, we do have thunderstorms ongoing across portions of the southern United States, as well as this low pressure system here in Colorado. And this will build southwesterly flow, pushing in the instability and the moisture needed for the Wednesday event. I am pretty concerned about this. I do want to take a look at the northern United States, as this is going to be the main area of focus for Wednesday. I believe Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri could be in for a possible tornado outbreak if this were to pan out. And if we go over to the instability values, notice the Cape values are rather significant for this time next week on Wednesday. Very elevated Cape values here, especially here into Illinois and Missouri. Missouri, you have places pushing 4,000 to 5,000 joules per kilogram of Cape. If we go over to the moisture values, notice that we have a general 70-degree dew point region here across Illinois, and then if we go back west into Missouri, we have dew points into the upper 70s, which is very high, especially considering that the air temperatures will be just about the same, mid to upper 70s. So that dew point air temperature spread is going to be very low, and I believe because of that we could have surface-based supercells capable of all hazards on day 5, I believe it is, which is Wednesday. And the Storm Prediction Center has already went ahead and highlighted a massive slight risk for day 5. I do think we could have an enhanced risk as early as tomorrow, if not Monday. Somewhere in this region here, probably going to be across Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri, just inside of this risk here. But other than that, that's all I got. It's going to get very active once again. We've had several tornado outbreaks over the last few days, so you definitely don't want to disregard this pattern here. But other than that, that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it. But other than that, that's all I got. Hope you guys have a great day.